One thing that can be really frustrating as a parent is you see your child struggling with a specific subject. They need help with their homework, or maybe they're asking questions on their homework that, you as a parent do not feel equipped to answer. IXL Learning is an online learning program for kids. It covers math, language arts, science, and social studies. IXL is designed to help them really understand and master topics in a fun way with positive feedback. I remember how much Eleanor struggled with math, and I was not able to help her, and having IXL would have really, really benefited her.
If your child is struggling, this is the smartest investment you can make. IXL is used in 95 of the top 100 school districts in the U.S. Make an impact on your child's learning. Get IXL now. And Happier listeners can get an exclusive 20% off IXL membership when they sign up today at IXL.com/happier. Visit IXL.com/happier to get the most effective learning program out there at the best price.
Hello and welcome to Happier, a podcast where we talk about ideas, strategies, and hacks for making our lives happier. This week, we've got a lot of hacks this week. We ask for your hacks and we share listeners' hacks for summer. Plus, we'll talk to the legendary Kelly Ripa about her new book, Live Wire, Long-Winded Short Stories. I'm Gretchen Rubin, a writer who studies happiness, good habits, the five senses, human nature. I'm in my little home office in New York City, and joining me today from Los Angeles is my sister, Elizabeth Kraft. And Elizabeth, you and I love a hack.
That's me, Elizabeth Kraft, a TV writer and producer living in LA. Yes, Gretch, we love all kinds of hacks, travel hacks, summer hacks, style hacks, any kind of hack. And I love Kelly Ripa, who happens to be best friends, Gretch, with Andy Cohen and Anderson Cooper, two of my favorites.
Oh, it'll be so fun to talk to her. So before we jump in, first, speaking of hacks, we are gathering a set of hacks that will be useful to us personally. We are not going to reveal anything more at this time, but let's just say we would like any hacks related to travel, hiking, and exercise generally. So send in your hacks. We're gathering them up.
And remember to send us questions for our Ask Us Anything episode. We're getting so many fun questions.
That's going to be a great episode. And then finally, I am hitting the road for the paperback release of my book, Life in Five Senses. June 6, 2024, I will be in Atlanta, Georgia with Karis Books and More at First Baptist Church of Decatur. And then June 7th, I will be heading to Dallas, Texas for Interrobang Books. Please join me. It's going to be so fun. You can get all the details at happiercast.com/book events.
Excellent.
Yeah. Okay. Now, this week, our Try This at Home is to try these summer hacks. We have a smorgasbord of summer hacks sent in by listeners. So fun.
Yes. Karen says, when you're on a trip, find a bookshop and buy a book, not necessarily what about that place, although it could be, but one you want to read. Then when you're reading it after your trip, and every time you see it on your bookshelf after that, it will remind you of your trip. It's amazing how often you can find bookshops all over the world with sections of books in English. I just bought Killers of the Flower Moon in Bari, Italy, for example. Also, finding the bookshop itself can be a fun little expedition, and often you see streets in a city you might not have walked down otherwise.
This reminds me of my secret of adulthood, that a quest is more fun than a jaunt.
Yes.
So going to look for a bookstore is like a fun thing to do in a new city. Stacy says, I'm in the middle of a trip right now. We are doing a road trip with a family wedding in the middle and hiking along the way, which has meant a weird combo of clothes. We got a used cooler, some plastic plates, and some actually really nice kitchen knives with sheaths at a thrift store in our starting city, Phoenix, and have been picnicking along the way to save money. It's also been hard for vegetarians to find decent meals in these smaller Southwest towns and tourist sites. Also, I brought a plain water bottle and have been adding souvenir stickers to it along the way. Ooh, I love a sticker, and this is a great way. You're creating a keepsake and getting to do fun things with stickers. I love that.
Yes. Danita says, a notebook or travel journal. It's great to jot down notes or memories to enjoy later. I recently found one from a trip I took years ago. There were little details I had forgotten, but as I read my notes, I could see it in my mind and enjoy the memories all over again.
Yeah, and I should mention that we've heard from listeners that they use my 5 senses journal or the 1 sentence journal in this way. So if you're interested in that, check out those journals on my site. Jenny Bell says, pack one mesh laundry bag for the entire family to share. It takes up almost no room, but is invaluable. As clothes get dirty, throw them in. Whether you're doing laundry on the trip or after you get home, this always saves a lot of time. Very good idea.
Yes, and I like keeping the dirty clothes separate from the clean clothes. It makes them feel like they're still clean.
Yes, good point.
Marie Claire says, less is enough, my latest mantra.
I mean, easier said than done.
Yes.
So true.
Yes.
Colleen has a suggestion that we've discussed before, but because it's kind of a life in 5 senses hack, I can't resist including it. Buy a new perfume or body spray and use it on your trip. Then whenever you use it when you get home, it will evoke memories from your travels. Lovely.
Karen says, I make sure all my clothes mix and match. Yes,
Great.
I have taken to that philosophy when packing, and that is very helpful.
Yeah. Julia says, always pack your own pillowcase. It will feel like home when you sleep, and that makes it easier to sleep. This is sort of next level, Elizabeth. I've never thought to do that, but it's a good idea.
It is, especially for people who have trouble sleeping away from home.
And Julia has another one. I try on everything I'm packing before I leave to make sure it is still comfortable and matches. I also note what I'm wearing each day to ensure I have something for every activity. It prevents me from overpacking. This is really good because I have a tendency to pack clothes that I haven't worn in a while, thinking like, oh, I haven't worn this in a while. I'll pack it so I'll make sure to wear it. But there's a reason I haven't worn it.
Yes.
And then it might not work very well. So this is a good hack.
Barb says, pack a spoon. That way you can stop into a grocery store and grab a yogurt or even a pasta salad for a quick snack.
Yeah, I pack a fork too. I find them really useful. Jess says, pack all dark colored clothes. Easier to wash everything in one go rather than needing to separate your lights and darks. Plus, dark clothes don't show stains as easily. Also, you need fewer shoes than you think. Depending on the type of trip, a pair of comfortable, smart sneakers will probably do it in every situation. It certainly would have been enough for my current trip to Japan. That's good because shoes take up so much space and they're so heavy.
Yes. We have another Gretchen who says, I always pack a lightweight, reusable tote bag, one that can lay flat. Athleta bag, any tote bag that I got for free, as it can be used as a pool or beach bag, or if I buy too much for my luggage, I can carry it on and check my bag. I do this, you do this, Gretchen.
Yes.
This is one of my favorite hacks.
Yeah.
Also, a small handheld battery-operated or USB chargeable fan. Good for on planes, before the air is on, hotel rooms, standing in lines at airports. I was once told by a flight attendant that many of them carry them for those exact reasons.
Excellent. Hallie says, put names on masking tape on the outside of the passport. It sounds silly, but is surprisingly helpful for families or groups to know which passport is which without having to flip open to the picture page each time. I'm going to do this. I have to say, I thought the passport was like a sacred document that you couldn't do that to. But I think as long as you're like on the cover, it should be fine. And it is a pain to have to flip them open. Yeah.
And you never know which page the photo is on. I'm always having to remember where's the photo?
Well, and then what if you grab the wrong one and you're off and, you know what I mean? It's just, this is a really good, that's a good hack.
Kim said, pack your sense of humor. At some stage, you will need it.
Yes. Yes, and remember one of my secrets of adulthood. Mishaps often make the best memories. Krista says, I always pack a pashmina with me when I travel. It has so many uses. Covers my head when the sun is too strong, covers shoulders when going into a church or mosque, scarf or shoulder wrap if you're chilly, or just to add personality to an outfit. It rolls up and fits in a purse, endless uses. I always have this when I travel because I get so cold.
Yes, I even like just putting it over myself, laying on the bed and reading or something rather than messing up the nice bed.
Yes.
Shannon said, before a trip, I make a list on my phone of everything I'm packing, which of course helps stay organized during the packing process. But after the trip, I go through the list in reverse, identifying all the things I packed but never bothered to use or wear. This helps me plan for the next time away, eliminating clothes, accessories, toiletries that I'm prone to think I need but actually don't.
Good. Chantel said, new one after this week's trip to Toronto. Bring 2 phone chargers, one for the hotel, one for the rental car. Maps can really drain a battery.
Minda says, bring an empty water bottle that you can fill after you pass through security. Always good to have water on hand. And, most airports now have water bottle filling places.
Dispensers.
So you're getting nice, clean, cold water.
Yeah. Genesis says, packing cubes can keep you organized and save space, especially when packing for a family. Well, one thing I'll say is you can also use a plastic bag if you don't want to buy packing cubes. They're clear, which a lot of people like that in a packing cube. But Elizabeth, you and I are big fans of the official packing cube. You gave them to me
Yes, we are.
for Christmas. I use them all the time. You gave them to Liza and Eleanor. They use them constantly.
Yes. I just gave them to someone graduating high school.
Yeah.
For college. Yes.
They're the kind of thing that for the rest of your life, you could use those packing cubes.
Yeah.
So here's my hack.
Okay.
And it's related to the Ziploc bag, which is pack anything that can leak in a plastic bag. And this could just be like a grocery store plastic bag, but you never regret it because it's rare that they leak, but when they leak, it's so bad. It's completely worth the effort to put something in a plastic bag. And pack snacks. That's a hack for me. And here's a hack that I just saw Jamie use, and it reminded me of how clever this is, which is take a picture of your room key or your room so that you remember it if you don't, or like where you parked your car, because it's easier to think, oh, of course I'll remember it. And then you just don't think of it. And then it's a big hassle. So just taking that quick photo can save you a lot of time and energy.
Yes. Well, Gretch, here's my hack. And this is for anybody who's traveling with dogs, like a road trip. Because, Adam and I have found we love taking Nacho and Daisy away for a few days. My hack is bring more towels than you think you need. So we always bring a couple of towels when we have the dogs with us. And I found it's good to bring maybe an extra couple. Yeah. Because somehow they'll get wet. They get dirty. You can put it over your lap if they're going to sit on your lap in the car for some reason and maybe shed. Yeah. It's just good that when you have a dog, it's just better to have a towel than not have a towel.
Yes. Good hack. Well, let us know if you do try these at home and how these summer hacks work for you. What did we miss? We are always in the market for more hacks. Let us know on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook. Send us an email at podcast@GretchenRubin.com. Or as always, you can go to the show notes. Go to happiercast.com/485 for everything related to this episode.
Coming up, we've got a fun iPhone hack. But first, this break. This message is sponsored by Greenlight. As your kids get older, some things about parenting get easier. They can make their own snacks and make their bed and do their laundry. But others don't, like having that conversation about money. The fact is, kids won't really know how to manage their money until they're actually in charge of it. Greenlight is a debit card and money app made for families. Parents can send money to their kids and keep an eye on kids' spending and saving, while kids and teens build money confidence and lifelong financial literacy skills. Jack has Greenlight, Gretchen, and he loves it. If I had Greenlight when we were young and I knew if I mowed the lawn, mom and dad would put money on my account, I for sure would have mowed the lawn more happily.
Millions of parents and kids are learning about money on Greenlight. It's the easy, convenient way for parents to raise financially smart kids and families to navigate life together. Sign up for Greenlight today and get your first month free when you go to greenlight.com/happier. That's greenlight.com/happier to try Greenlight for free. Greenlight.com/happier.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Gretch, this year has gone by so fast. Yeah. You and I love thinking about years as a whole. We love thinking about what we want to do in a year, what we want to accomplish. We love looking back on the year. Well, there is still time to have a lot happen in this year. And one thing that can really help when you're trying to tackle something big is therapy. I know that for me, anytime I've struggled or wanted to figure out something big, Speaking to a therapist has made a huge difference.
If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time. Take a moment. Visit betterhelp.com/Gretchen Rubin today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Gretchen Rubin. Okay, this week's happiness hack has whimsy, and I cannot get enough of whimsy. This is hilarious. I have tried it. It works.
This comes from Juliet. She says, you mentioned the iPhone light being great. Did you know you can turn it on and off with Harry Potter spells? Say Siri Lumos to turn it on and Siri Knox to turn it off. It's great for hands-free use and a touch of whimsy.
Yeah, we were talking in an earlier episode about how handy it is to have a flashlight on your smartphone, but who knew that you could turn it on with a verbal spell?
Yes, which is especially handy if you're in the dark.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And now for an interview. We are so excited to be talking to the legendary Kelly Ripa. Kelly Ripa is an actor and television daytime talk shows. Since 2001, she has been the co-host of the morning talk show Live with Kelly and Mark in its various formats since Live with Regis and Kelly. She's also the host of the terrific new podcast, Let's Talk Off Camera.
And if all that's not enough, she's just published her first book. It's a New York Times bestseller, a collection of essays called Live Wire, Long-Winded Short Stories. And I'll read a description. In Live Wire, her first book, Kelly shows what really makes her tick. As a professional, as a wife, as a daughter, and as a mother, she brings a hard-earned wisdom and an eye for the absurdity of life to every minute of every day. It is her relatability in all of these roles that has earned her fans worldwide and millions of followers on social media. Whether recounting how she and Mark really met, the level of chauvinism she experienced on set, how Jersey pride follows her wherever she goes, and many, many moments of utter mortification once she proves that you cannot, in fact, die of embarrassment, Kelly always tells it like it is. Kelly takes no prisoners.
Elizabeth, you know what I just realized is that the book is called Live Wire and her show is called Live. And I Live Wire made so much sense. I didn't connect it to the TV show, but that's a very clever title.
Very clever.
Hey, Kelly.
Hi, Kelly.
Ladies, good day. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
We're so happy to be talking to you.
We are. Now, Kelly, you are extremely candid. You're known for that. For instance, you talk a lot about the inner workings of your marriage, behind the scenes of the TV show, and a lot of details about your family and friends in the book. How did you decide where to draw the line, or do you draw a line?
No, so I draw so many lines. So I'm very careful about what I put in the book. I sent out the chapters that involved the innocent, as I like to call them, beforehand, to correct the record in any way, to make notations, to say, you know, I remember it differently than that. And so I was very careful. Any story that I tell in the book are stories that I've told either on the air, on my talk show, or at dinner parties where it's kind of public. So nothing is that mysterious. If it's really personal and super private, and I am an excellent secret keeper, and Gretchen and Liz, if you were to say to me in confidence, you know, between us, can I tell you, then it will go to the grave with me because I am excellent at keeping secrets. But when things happen sort of publicly, or if something happens privately and it's ludicrous and funny, I will say, hey, do you mind if I, you know, how was this for you? Is this the way you recall? Do you like this? is there something to this, or would you prefer I take it out entirely? So that's how I went about writing the book.
Well, it's interesting because I think to a reader or a viewer, they feel like you're being so open about so many things. They feel like they're getting everything, but they don't realize all the things that you're not disclosing. So
yeah, it would be a 6,000 volume document that nobody would be interested in reading. As it was, my editor cut 200 pages out of this book because
Wow.
she actually said to me, because I did not understand some of the things that were left out. I thought some real gems were left out of the book. And, Carrie Thornton in her infinite wisdom said, Kelly, have you ever seen a movie that's 1 hour too long?
Yeah.
And so she put it in a language I could easily understand. And I said, got it. Okay. You're right.
Well, this is your first book. You just started a podcast too. So you're doing these new things. And you say in your book that you always assume that you can do anything, which is remarkable. Now, did that help when you were first starting with Live with Regis and Kelly? Is that gave you the courage to do it?
They say ignorance is bliss for a reason, because it truly is bliss. When you go into something not knowing what it is you're undertaking, you come at it from a place of joy and enthusiasm. It's only after you do it for a while that you realize, oh my gosh, I've bitten off so much more than I can chew. So I liken myself to sort of a human hamster. I shove it all in, my cheeks get stuffed out to here, and I'm like, I'll break this down later. Right. I'll just work on digesting this at a later date. And that's how I tackle everything. I mean, that's how I tackled writing the book. I actually thought that because I talk for a living, that writing a book would just be like talking, when in fact I realized quickly that it was very hard for me, and I am uneducated in that way. I have no formal education in terms of beyond high school. And so writing a book was a really profoundly difficult experience for me. And it took me a long time.
Well, you say you wore out your chair. I mean, that is, as a writer, that is next level.
Yes.
I wore out my chair, and more horrifying, I wore out my buttocks. So my butt still to this day is shaped like my chair. And nobody understands it. I can send you a picture if you promise not to share it with anyone. But my butt is now square. It's shaped like a square, and I can't figure out how to fix it. I work out a lot trying to fix it. I've done micro needling to try to fix it.
Oh my God.
And I think it's just permanently shaped like a chair.
Professional.
Well, it shows you put the work into the book.
I did work really hard. I was determined to do it myself. That was my big determining factor, was that if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it myself. I don't want help doing it, but therefore, physically, my furniture and I suffered.
You paid the price.
Yes.
Well, now, just over a year ago, you launched your podcast, Let's Talk Off Camera, which I am enjoying so much.
So fun.
And Kelly, you make people so comfortable that they say things they probably wouldn't normally say.
You laugh with an evil laugh.
Yes. Yes. Is that something you've always been able to do to get people to confide? You mentioned you're a good secret keeper. Maybe that's part of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's a sort of a multi-part answer. So I think that I've always been an active listener, which, as you both know from what you do, being an active listener is part of squeezing the juice out of the lemon in the right way. I also think that because our podcast is off camera, there is a certain relaxed environment surrounding that you just see people. I think even when people are logging on to do the podcast, they're truly not entirely convinced that it's off camera until they see me, and then they're like, "Oh, it really is off camera." Monster. So then they sort of relax back into their furniture, we've done it. people have been in their car picking up their kids from school. I mean,
Oh.
people do the podcast in myriad ways. Carol Burnett did it over the telephone. So we really accommodate, we meet people where they are. If they're still in bed, then we're still in bed. And so I think there's a relaxed nature around that. The whole formation for the podcast came from people coming into my dressing room after the talk show and really telling me the most interesting things off camera, because it was off camera. It wasn't in front of an audience. And we are very mindful of sometimes people share things they wish they hadn't, and we always allow everyone the option to take out whatever they wish they hadn't said. I don't want to be the person that, I don't want to be the one night stand that people regret. You know, I want to be the one night stand that they go, that was great. And I feel amazing about the way that went down.
Okay, Kelly, I want to do a rapid fire set of questions to see if I can tell your tendency, if you're an upholder, questioner, obliger, rebel. So I'm going to ask you a few questions. Now, of course, you'd have to take the quiz to get like an actual answer, GretchenRubin.com/quiz. But sometimes I can do a flash one. So I want to see. Okay, so let me ask you this. How do you feel about New Year's resolutions?
I feel that they are really nonsense. However, I do like the idea of setting an intention without the caveat of feeling guilty if it doesn't come to fruition.
And now, why are they nonsense?
I don't like the idea that people put pressure starting out a new year with the idea of you could set yourself up for failure.
Okay. Do you ever think, why can I keep my promises to other people, but I can't keep my promises to myself?
No, because I'm pretty good at keeping my promises to both. I'm a woman of my word. So if I'm a woman of my word to other people, then I'm a woman of my word to myself.
Would people ever say that you're rigid in your scheduling?
Yes.
I mean, apart from your work, because obviously you're incredibly rigid.
Yeah, no.
But like in your private life.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty disciplined in my scheduling, even when I'm not working. I have a routine, and I wouldn't be hard to, I hate to say this, but I wouldn't be hard to like assassinate. I'm pretty like, I have a routine, and it never deviates.
Okay, so last question. I think I'm getting a handle on you. Let's say you and I were we live near each other. Let's say we were in a coffee shop. We're in the back room. There's nobody really around. There's a big sign that says absolutely no cell phone use. And I pull out my cell phone and I start using it. How do you feel?
I mean, I feel I am uncomfortable because I know that sign is there and we're not following the rules because I'm a rule follower by nature. But mostly I feel bad that I've not been able to hold your attention.
That's funny.
However, I am so used to not holding people's attention rapidly. This happens to me all the time. My husband pulls out his cell phone all the time and utilizes it with abandon. I'm friends with Andy Cohen, who's one of the great cell phone manipulators during our conversations. So I can glaze over it with a certain acceptance because it's just a part of daily life now.
Okay. Well, I'm guessing that you're an upholder or a questioner. I would have to dig a little bit deeper to see.
I'm gonna take the quiz.
Yeah. And there's no pressure to act on it, but it's just fun.
I want you to figure me out.
Yeah, I wish we had 2 hours because I would love nothing more than to just pepper you with questions and try to dial in. But finally, we ask every guest, do you have a suggestion for a try this at home suggestion? Something that listeners can do as just part of their ordinary day, something to be happier, healthier, more productive, more creative, something that you do or something that you wish you did?
100% dance with reckless abandon anywhere in your house. Crank up the music, whatever song you like, whatever song is your jam, whether it's in the car or the dentist or wherever it is that you're like, oh, this is my jam. People do it a lot, I think, in their cars. I don't know. I don't drive a car because I live in New York City, but I do it in my earbuds. But dance like no one is watching, because if you're home alone, chances are no one is watching. That elevates your mood. It elevates your sort of ability to conceptualize your life in ways that you can't imagine.
That's a great suggestion, and that's something that anybody could do right away. So that's wonderful.
It works like a charm. Even if you are unable to move your body in that way, if you crank up a song that you love in your house and you're seated, you're sat in your sofa, you're sat in your chair, wherever, you can still use the rest of your body to just, even your mind's body, the body in your mind, you can get yourself there by just cranking up the music and letting yourself go. It really works. It is an immediate mood improver.
Well, this is a great suggestion. Research totally backs you up that listening to one of your favorite upbeat songs is one of the quickest, easiest ways to intervene in your mood. And if you're dancing around, then you just get all that exercise and you're just pumping it up all the more. That's great.
I'm so glad data backs me up, Albert.
You got it.
Science says you have to dance.
Well, thank you so much, Kelly. This is so fun to talk to you.
I really appreciate it. Thanks
Kelly.
So much, Gretchen and Liz. I'm so impressed that you can work together.
Well, you work with your husband, so that seems harder than working with a sister.
I know, but we're not like blood relatives. There still seems to be some mystery between us.
Yeah, the lack of history between Elizabeth and me, maybe that's part of why it works. we know each other so well.
And we're 3,000 miles away.
True. Oh, okay. So there's that.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Kelly.
Enjoy your day. Bye.
Coming up, Gretchen gives herself a note-taking demerit. But first, this break. If you've ever been in the market for a new home, you know home shopping can be a lot. There's so much you don't know and so much you need to know. What are the neighborhoods like? What are the schools like? Who is the agent who knows the listing or neighborhood best? And why can't all this information just be in one place?
Well, now it is on Homes.com. They've got everything you need to know about the listing itself, but even better. They've got comprehensive neighborhood guides and detailed reports about local schools. And their agent directory helps you see the agent's current listings and sales history. Homes.com collaboration tools make it easier than ever to share all this information with your family. It's a whole cul-de-sac of home shopping information all at your fingertips. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
The weather's getting warmer, so it's time to say goodbye to jackets and sweaters and hello to shorts and tees. Gretchen, I am always on the hunt for the perfect t-shirt, and I found it at Quince. So well priced, such good quality. I am in love with the slub crew neck tee. I have it in white. I'm getting it in black, possibly multiples. I love it so much.
The best part, all Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. By partnering directly with top factories, Quince cuts out the costs of the middleman and passes the savings on to us. Get warm weather ready with Quince. Go to quince.com/Gretchen for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/Gretchen to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Gretchen. The national sales event is on at your Toyota dealer, making now the perfect time to get a great deal on a dependable new car.
Like a legendary Camry, built for performance and available with all-wheel drive, you can count on your new Camry to get anywhere you need to go. And with available features like heated seats and a multimedia touchscreen, you can stay connected in comfort and style.
Or check out an affordable and reliable Corolla with a trim for every lifestyle, from the hip and agile sedan to the sporty hatchback. There's a dependable Corolla built just for you.
Plus, both Camrys and Corollas are available in hybrid models, so no matter your style, you can drive efficiently and affordably.
So visit your local Toyota dealer and check out amazing national sales event deals on Camrys, Corollas, and more when you visit buyatoyota.com.
Toyota, let's go places. Okay, Gretch, we are back with demerits and gold stars, and you are up this week with a happiness demerit.
Yes, and this, I suspect this is a repeat demerit, though I can't remember for sure. But anyway, over the last several weeks, I've been in situations where I've been talking to a lot of people that I don't usually see. For instance, I went to my college reunion and I went to a conference. And when I do that, I hear so many interesting stories and examples and anecdotes and questions, and I get ideas for like television shows and podcasts and books. And the problem is I just didn't take enough notes. Sometimes I did take notes, but sometimes, I didn't have my pen and paper at the ready. I don't like pulling out my phone and typing into it when I'm talking to somebody. Somehow that, I don't know. And even pulling out paper sometimes takes you out of the moment where you're having an intense conversation. But now I really regret it. And listen, you and I keep learning over and over. Never think, oh, this is such a big idea, I'll never forget it. Because I keep thinking, oh, somebody told me about this amazing book that I really, really want to read, but what was it? Or I heard this really interesting hack, but now I can't remember what it was. So anyway, my demerit is always have pen and paper and just pull it out. Even if it feels a little awkward, in the long run, I will be glad that I took notes.
Yes, and worst case, I'll just tell somebody I'm going to text myself this, and I'll text myself.
Yes. Yeah.
Especially podcast segment ideas. I will text myself the idea and I just announce I'm doing it.
And the funny thing is, I think people actually sometimes feel flattered because they're like, oh, wow, she really is hearing what I'm saying, or she's really interested in following up. So it's not like they take it amiss. It's just that it pulls me out of the conversation, just sort of the fussing.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's worth doing. So Elizabeth, take us up. What is your gold star?
Gretch, my gold star goes to the guy who helped me buy hiking boots. So I needed to get some hiking boots, real ones, which I've never had, that have like ankle support. And I was at REI, which was super crowded because they were having a big sale. And this guy who was helping me was helping, I think, at least 6 or 7 people at once.
Oh my gosh.
He was getting, what size do you need? What size do you need? Running to the back, coming out, checking sizes, because it's not an easy thing to get hiking boots. Like you need advice.
It's very high stakes too, because if they don't fit.
Yes, he was grabbing me socks, hiking socks, to try on with the boots. He was answering another question from someone across the way. And I just was really admiring his ability to help so many people to stay calm, but also focused on your question when you asked it, and not just blowing you off, which it would have been, I'm sure, very tempting to do.
Right.
So gold star.
Oh, that's great. No, I feel like selling shoes is really hard. And to do it simultaneously with multiple people, that is very difficult. Okay, well, gold star, that's great.
By the way, I did, because I know from this podcast, it's something we want to do. I complimented him on the spot.
Oh, that's good.
And I think he appreciated it.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, we should always tell people when we notice that they deserve a gold star.
Yes.
The resource for this week. Earlier this month in a More Happier episode, we shared some quick manageable tasks to get ready for summer in our Sweep the Deck episode, one of those odd deck episodes. If you missed that episode or couldn't participate, do not worry. I will put a link in the show notes. And also, I have created a bingo card to gamify your summer preparations. Some people love to gamify anything. You might be even more motivated when you can see yourself cross things off the list and working towards bingo. And if you want the bingo card, you want to join the fun, just download the Sweep the Deck bingo card PDF from happiercast.com/resources. People love these episodes, Elizabeth. It's super fun.
They're so fun.
So what are we reading? Elizabeth, what are you reading?
I am reading Before We Were Innocent by Ella Berman.
And I am reading The Rook by Daniel O'Malley. And that's it for this episode of Happier. Remember to try this at home. Try some of the summer hacks. Let us know what you tried and what worked for you.
Thank you to Kelly Ripa. Read her new book, Live Wire, and listen to her podcast, Let's Talk Off Camera. Thank you to our executive producer, Chuck Reed, and everyone at Odyssey. Get in touch. Gretchen's on Instagram, Threads, Facebook, and TikTok at Gretchen Rubin, and I'm on Instagram and Threads at Liz Craft. Our email address is podcast@gretchenrubin.com.
And if you like the show, please rate, review, follow it, and tell a friend. Here comes your rhyming reminder. If the show brightens your day, send others this way.
Until next week, I'm Elizabeth Craft.
And I'm Gretchen Rubin. Thanks for joining us. Onward and upward.
You guys are the best. I appreciate it. Look, I just want you to see, you have Liz there. Come here, Jen and Albert. I have Jen and Albert are here with me, the other voices of the podcast.
I was wondering when we met Jen if she was the one.
You got to do the laugh so people know it's you. Albert gets discovered by his laugh, like in Peconic Prime Meats.
I was in a store this weekend, and I laughed, and someone turned the corner and said, "Are you Kelly's Albert?"
Are you Kelly's
my
Albert? I
gosh,
love that. You got
that
voice
is
recognized.
hilarious.
Excellent.
I died.
From the Onward Project.